What I love to see is progression, and we're gonna get to this year. I mean, at some point in time, something clicks for a guy. I understand that. You are obviously very understanding of that, because if we look at 2019, if we're just calling spades here, Corb, you're getting your ass kicked a little bit. And I have been there, my man, where you just, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Something clicked though, because you started handing out ass whippings and you just haven't stopped. So what was it for you? Was it paying attention to the command? Was it paying attention to something mechanically, paying attention to something in terms of preparation? But what was it that you can go back to, if you can, and pinpoint and was like, this is what turned me in to the beast you're dealing with today?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things, but more importantly, I think it was just the mindset, the mentality. After you kind of get kicked in the face there in 19, it was, it got to the point that the Brewers were like, hey, go to Arizona and just kind of get away from baseball. I mean, that's that was kind of the nice way was, hey, let's go back and try to get a routine and go to the pitching lab. But it was basically like, hey, just take a step away from the game. I mean, it's nothing is going right. You have one good outing and then you have 5 that are just horrible to follow. So stepping away from the game. And when I was able to go back to Arizona is when I kind of focused on the mind game. Started working with Brian Kane, who has worked with some of the elite athletes, not only in baseball but just in all sports. Yep. To see what he did and kind of get the same training that he gave to even a lot of his MMA guys and other baseball guys. Just the mindset was huge for me. It allowed me to kind of unlock some of the things that I have as a pitcher. Obviously I knew the stuff was good and it was there. And basically it was like, hey, you've got the stuff to do it. Go out and attack. And just getting that attacking mindset has just completely changed everything for me the last 2 years.
Like, did you ever have that conversation with yourself where you're like, yo, guy, your shit is absolutely filthy. Like, what are we doing here? Like, let's tighten this up. Let's go. Like, what was that moment in time for you where you have that, like, sort of come to Jesus, like, all right, we got to make a decision here. We got to make a decision.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just me. I mean, it was the Brewers. It was family. It was like, dude, look at this slider. Look at this. Even the curveball. Like, look at this. Like, guys should not be hitting this. Then the numbers on it are even like, hey, they're not hitting it. So for me, it was like, what can we do to help out the slider? And that's where this sinker and this cutter were born. And we've been able to kind of put everything in the past, I would say, but I don't completely forget about all of it. That's something that part of my mindset is, hey, let's not go back to that. And let's recall the good stuff, recall the good 18, the good 20, and go out and just attack the zone. And it's been a completely different picture.
So obviously, that the streak has taken on a life of its own. It's a lot of what baseball fans are talking about these days. Like, will Corbin Burnes walk a batter? And like, are you going out there? Like, I would imagine you're not thinking about it. Like, I would imagine that, like, if it happens, it happens, and it's not the end of the world, because you also don't want to put yourself almost at a disadvantage where you found yourself in a couple of 3-2 counts last night. You end up punching out both guys, but like, they're aware of the streak. So it's like, well, now I feel like I have a heater coming and I feel like it's going to be in the strike zone. Like, that almost becomes an advantage to the hitter. So are you thinking about, like, this is in, like, I have to be unafraid to walk a guy at some point?
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be certain points in the game that come up that, a walk is going to be better than giving a nice, juicy fastball over the plate. We've gotten to that point a couple times where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm in a 2-0 count here. I got to open base. I'm going to be smart and pitch around this guy. And it just so happened that we were able to, to not end up walking him. But yeah, you're never going up there thinking, gosh, I really don't want to walk this guy. It's 2-0, like it's 3-0. Now I'm in trouble. No, as soon as you get to there, get to that point, I'm sure Dallas can talk about this too. It's like, once you get to that point, it's like, I mean, your host, you've already walked the guy. As soon as you're going 3-0, God, I don't want to walk this guy. You're toast. So for me, I think yesterday against Birdie, I think it was the first time that we went 2-0, and I think I heard some guys in the dugout were like, "Oh, we're gonna get a walk. Like, this is gonna be the first walk." And it's just like, I think after the punch out, I kind of shook my head like, "No, I'm not ready to do that yet."
I love that. So you got the rabbit ears up. You can hear a little bit.
That was the first time I'd heard anything. Yeah.
So then what's going through your dome when you're getting bled to death out there, because I've been there as well. You're making your pitches, you're executing, and that's the kick. I mean, let's be real. That's the kick in the dick, is you're executing and they're fighting it off, and it's happening. And to Jared's point, what I wanted to ask you before Jared hit you with that was, are you superstitious? I was going to just, stick the pinky in. Are you superstitious? Like, how do you feel about it? But we found out. So what are you thinking? Like, is there any shift in mindset there? Kind of like Jared was talking about, like, look, I'm getting fucking bled to death, so I'm not going to end up walking these dudes. Like, what do I got to do here?
Yeah. I mean, it happens to everyone, at least. Gosh, I would like to say it's only going to happen to me once all year, but it's probably going to happen again. It's just one of those things as a pitcher that, when hitters get on a roll, you hear it all the time, hitting's contagious. And I think it was kind of the telltale sign of the very first inning when Chisholm rolled over a cutter to second base, and the ball hit something and trampolined over Wong's
head. A gopher, I believe. Yeah, a
gopher, squirrel, something ran across the field at that time. But I think that was kind of the point. Like, hey, it could be a tough night, and we were able to settle in there for 5 innings. And once we got to the 6th, we were making some good pitches. And I mean, Aggie hit a 65-mile-an-hour ball that that landed in the right field, and a couple other weak contact. And it's just one of those things. Like, gosh, you got to do whatever you can to try to stop it. And last night we just weren't able to.